guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. It has been raining and cloudy here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's been raining. It's been raining throughout this, well, it's been raining all week and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. It's been like not just raining, it's been pouring. So there's no hair content today because I still have my lovely hair in. But today I want to talk about my most recent read, because I've been I enjoy reading, but I've had challenges making time for it, but I do enjoy reading. And I wanted to talk about my latest book while I, paint my face. My latest book is or was, because I have finished reading the book. It's called We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers. Rachel Rodgers is a black woman. And I want to talk a little about the book because I loved it and I absolutely would recommend it. So yeah, let's jump into that. So the book We Should All Be Millionaires details a realistic, achievable, step-by-step path to become a millionaire within the next 3 years. I didn't really see the book as like how to be a millionaire in the next 3 years. I didn't, take the book like that. But, it was definitely interesting. And also I wanted to say that since I do have such a hard time making time to actually sit down and read as a working woman, I found audiobook was the next best thing for me, because at my old job I had about 2 hour, in total 4 hours, just to say 4 hour commute, and it's been very helpful being able to read that or listen to it while driving. So I want to say that I love self-help books, but once in a while I will go in and read some romantic fantasy books. I have read books similar to this in the past, and the most similar one I have read in the past was titled You Are a Badass at Making Money, and this was by Sincero. I will leave a picture of it on the screen. This book was by Sincero, and it was a really good book. It was, but while reading this book, there was a disconnect. I felt a disconnect and I couldn't figure out what the disconnect was. And when I say Sincero is the author, she is a white woman. So it was a good book. I'm not going to discredit the author of the book. It was a good book. It was a very inspiring, motivating book, but I just felt a disconnect and I couldn't figure out what the disconnect was until... And mind you, I read this book let's just say about 2 years ago. So I just read this one called We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers, and it just put everything into perspective for me. And this is because Rachel Rodgers is a black woman, and I noticed that the disconnect between this book and the old book I read was the difference is a white woman speaking about her experience versus a black woman speaking about her experience. And obviously, which one am I going to be able to relate to more? The black woman. So Rachel Rodgers goes into details of history of, of African American history, history of oppression, history of generational trauma, and history of generational wealth that we were not able, as black people, we were not able to acquire. And all we acquired was years of generational trauma. And that just made so much more sense to me. And that was the disconnect from the other book titled You're a Badass at Making Money. The thing I love that drew me into this book by Rachel Rodgers is she dove into history, and I so much appreciated the fact that she dove into history. She was giving us dates, she was giving us timelines, she was giving us specific civil rights era and things like that. So it really did put a lot of things into perspective for me, and that did not happen with the old book I was reading. And also I wanted to point out that as a Nigerian woman, I was not born or raised in this country. I was not born and raised in the United States. I was born and raised in Nigeria. And every day I actively and consciously want to learn more about African American history. And now I'm just realizing the history that was taught to me, us in high school, was a lot watered down. It was like all the way watered down, which is crazy, because now I actively have to seek out sources, seek out books, seek out movies to learn more about African American history. So this is why when white people ask to educate them on certain topics, this is why I feel like you don't have to, because if you really cared, you will go learn about it. We have so much sources out there. We have libraries, we have books, we have movies. You will go learn it, find it, and learn it yourself. So I every day consciously seek to learn more about African American history, because there's so much that we don't know about. There's so much I don't know about. There's so much that we were not taught in school. So much about it. So it's just mind-blowing. It's seriously mind-blowing. The thing that caught my attention while listening to this book is something I believe that I struggle with as a woman, as a black woman, and as an extreme introvert. She talks about building a community of women, and that is something I absolutely struggle about. You know, she talked about how, you know, you do need people with the same mindset on your side in order to get far, and you know, you just need people, and I do believe that, you know, by your side. And it doesn't have to be 1,000, it can be just one person by your side that has the same mindset as you, that has almost the same goal as you, that is willing to reciprocate what you're given. And that is something I struggled with. And she talks about the challenges that black women face when it comes to building that kind of community of women in entrepreneurship and women in business. And I struggle with that. I do struggle with that. And you know, she talks about how, you know, these are the women that you have by your side, that when you're feeling down, when your imposter syndrome is kicking in, when you're feeling defeated, that they remind you of your work ethic. They remind you of how far you've come. They remind you that you're deserving of these things because you work hard for them. Those are the people, those are the women you want by your side. And I feel like that is exactly what I'm lacking. And I can admit that I do lack that, and that's what is missing. And I've been actively trying to fix that, but obviously I'm not desperate either that I would just settle for anyone. You know, I want it to be someone with the same mindset as me, the same goals as me. She basically validated my feelings and said that, you know, it is hard, especially for women, for black women. It is very challenging to find or create a group of like-minded community. So it was very validating, but she also, you know, reassured me that although it is challenging, it is not impossible, which, you know, gave me some peace of mind. But I am actively working towards it. I am. Rachel Rodgers also touches on the patriarchy society that we live in. And as you and I know, the patriarchal society we live in is made for men to succeed and not for women. Okay? It is made for women. It's made for men to succeed and not for women. And she touches about the patriarchal system and women creating boundaries in your personal life and in your work life, which is so important. And I remember feeling so validated when she talked about it, because I am queen of creating boundaries, okay? I am queen of it, especially at the workplace. I don't play about that. So I felt very, very validated. And in your personal life too, which is also great, especially when a woman has kids. And she is a woman with kids. So as someone that wants to have kids in the future, this was very great. This was a great perspective for me. She also talked about not feeling, women are conditioned to feel guilty when they take time for themselves, because we are supposed to be tending to everyone but ourselves. I don't know why I made that face. We're supposed to be tending to everyone but ourselves. So God forbid we hire a housekeeper, or God forbid we decide that we need time for ourselves, or spend the weekend at a hotel away from everyone and just tend to ourselves. God forbid. God forbid. So she talked about, doing things that you want to do despite having a husband, despite having kids, and without guilt. Without guilt. And I feel like that's the part a lot of women struggle with. And I used to struggle with that before, but I don't anymore. It comes with... I feel like it comes with practice. Practice doing something for yourself without feeling guilty. Practice putting yourself first without feeling guilty. It definitely comes with a lot of practice, but I feel like that's what a lot of women struggle with, putting themselves first. So she really gives some really great examples just to put things into perspective. You might be wondering, what does this sound like when a woman sets boundaries in her personal life versus her work life? She gives really great examples to see, point of view for your better understanding. I guess the reader or the viewers, the listeners, better understanding. Alright, so this is the end of the video, and all in all, I would absolutely recommend this book. I think it is a great book for women in general. And it's not just if you're trying to be a businesswoman or anything like that, but just a woman in general. I would absolutely recommend this book. If I was to choose one over the other, I would definitely choose the one by Rachel Rodgers over the one by sincero, like I mentioned earlier in this video. Absolutely would recommend it, and I don't want to give too much and spoil the book in case anyone wants to read it, but I promise you it was a great read. It was a great listen. Again, if you are struggling with setting the time to read, I would absolutely recommend audiobooks. I use Amazon Audible. I pay for it monthly, and I think it's worth the investment. I've read a lot of books, listened to a lot of books on there. So yes, I hope to I guess reflect more on the books that I am reading in the near future, because it's interesting. Sometimes when I read books, I want to share with the next person, and I want to make them read it, because I felt like you're gonna get something out of it, you're gonna love it. So I'm glad that I can come in here and share it for anyone that might take my recommendations. So yes, I will end this video right here, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.